Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, everybody, for the time this episode gets out, and welcome to the Borderline Podcast. It's me, your host, Andrew Willix, and I hope you're all doing really well. This is about the 15th attempt I've done at this episode, courtesy of Riverside. I've tried to do a pre-Hyrox episode last Friday, and that didn't work. I tried to do it twice yesterday, and it still didn't work. So, third time lucky of trying to, although Andy take 14 is up in the corner. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you're all doing amazing. There's just a little rant from the start of me. And yeah, so we're here for a special Hyrox episode to give you the rundown of what all went down at the weekend, obviously up in Glasgow, and just a little bit more extra. It's been a while since I've done my own solo podcast. I've had a brilliant range of guests on, and yeah, just kind of want to talk a little bit about that too, and just catch up with everybody. So again, we're on a video one, whether this is going to work or not. I might end up having to change that audio halfway through this episode, which I'm already going to apologize for if that's what's going to happen. But Riverside is not playing cricket this week. So, yeah, so Hyrox Saturday, yeah, absolutely incredible experience. I've still got a massive smile on my face. It's in the top top 5 things that I've done in my life. Wow, just such a thrill. But I don't actually want to start there. I want to slow myself down a little bit. And that is to go cast our mind back to about 2 weeks ago, and about a week and a half ago, sorry. And we finally got over the 1,000 downloads on Spotify, which is incredible. Honestly, I can't tell you how excited, how happy I am that is with me. Now, I know a lot of big podcasts such as Joe Rogan and that will be amassing, like 2 million a day. But for starting out 7 or 8 months ago, and getting over 1,000 on a little amateur local podcast is honestly, it's not something that I actually ever anticipated happening. So to get that over the line was absolutely incredible. And since then, it's just been ongoing. I think we've got like another 260 since then or something like that. So it's just really is going mental now. So again, a massive thank you to everybody that's listened in and passed on. A huge thank you to all my guests that obviously bring in quite a few new viewers, listeners, and that. I've got a lot more followers now because of that. So massive thank you to everybody that's came on the show recently as well. Obviously, massive help. And of course, guests last year. They've got a rack of views now on some of their episodes. So we are changing lives and we are helping people, and that is the aim of the Borderline Podcast, and we're doing that. But I just wanted to touch on the demographic of of the 1,000 downloads, how we got there, who are the different people that's involved with it, and without any further ado, I may as well just get cracked on with that. So the Borderline Podcast is over in 30 different countries just now. I'm not going to go for every single one, but kind of obscure ones. We're in the Philippines now. We're in Colombia. We're in Kenya, Malta. A lot of Europeans. Germany is a high up one. I'm not in Spain yet, though. That's a bit weird. UK is obviously it's masses to around about 89% of my total listens. But sorry, pretty key there straight away is I made a resolution at the start of the year that I really want to get 5% in America, and we're already at 3.4%. Just in March. So that's really cool. Basically, what that means is that I'm accessing a lot of different listeners for the impressions that Spotify gives. So basically, the Borderline Podcast might come up as a recommendation for somebody. That is what they define as an impression. People then click into it. So that's happening across in America, which is also a little bit mind-boggling to think that people are actually doing that with something that I've created, or guests that are coming on. A lot of different states out there. With Colorado, New York, California, Utah, and another one, New Jersey, maybe Rhode Island, but I think it was New Jersey. Hey, I'm good at geography. So it's really cool. A little bit more on that. Of the who are the 1,000 listeners, I know that 59% are male, around about 35% are female. The rest are non-binary or non-specified. So age groups. Not really hitting a lot in like the early teens. 18 to 21-year-olds were sat at like 0.9% or something like that. But as the age groups go up, between 35 and 44, it's like 52% of the total views, the total listens. And in the next category up from that, whether it be 45 to 54, also, pretty high. It's around about 16%. And the bracket before that for, young adults in their 20s, early 30s, we're making up like another 20 odd percent. So it's really, really, really cool, and it's really exciting. And it's like I say, it's good to get back to a solo podcast because I really want to just kind of keep on going with them now and keep the momentum going, and get more followers and get more people in, and and possibly get more people on the show, more guest stories and whatnot. So it's growing really well. So thank you to everybody that's listened, taking the time out of your busy lives to come and listen to this annoying voice chatter on around about a pretty depressing subject. So kudos to you. So I'll just take a little drink. Sorry. So Hyrox, yeah. So it was brilliant. Saturday, I got to start off the story by last week, and that was probably around about Wednesday last week. I started getting like pretty bad anxiety, getting pretty worked up about the prospect of going up to Glasgow on the train and waiting about and sitting about, and all I was concentrating, all I was trying to concentrate on was the actual race itself. Just get to that, because once you're in there, I'm not going to feel anxiety. I'm going to be more worried about my imminent heart failure, which nearly happened. It didn't really. And yeah, so it was, yes, Wednesday was getting quite tough for me last week anyway. Like I said, I anticipated my diet to drop off. It didn't, which was quite good. I'd sleep though, when I wasn't really sleeping that great middle of last week. Thursday I just felt so fucking flat, swear jar already, and I just could not get anything. You know what I'm on about. Nothing happening on the inside, nothing happening on the head. That no excitement with life feeling sort of blending in. I can't even be bothered to do the Hyrox. What's the point of me doing the Hyrox? I'm just going to feel like shit at the Hyrox. All that negative ruminating self-talk that I keep on barging on about. That was very apparent on Thursday. But then something weird happened, and that was Friday. And Friday, I woke up in quite a good mood, which I anticipated that to be the total opposite. And I got to the gym on Friday, which helped. Although it was only like a 25-minute workout, little bike, 5-minute jog, and majority of all was stretching. So that did help my mood, because Wednesday, Thursday I was rest days, and anybody that understands the mental health game or the fitness game knows that we're not all up there just to get fit. It's also a little bit of mental fortitude that you pull away from the gym. So even not getting there for 2 days kind of plays on my mind a little bit, especially when you've got something like Hyrox rooming, and it's I need to be resting, but I don't want to be resting. It'd be great if it was like that all the time. If you had a brilliant excuse not to go to the gym every week, but if it, sadly we don't. So, no, it was, Friday came about, and it was quite strange. And my appetite was massive on Friday, and I must admit, on Friday I'm thinking, where the hell is this anxiety at? What's happened? But I really thought I was going to start getting quite quite bad at that point, not being able to talk. Friday at work was absolutely fine, my other job, and came home on Friday night, got an early finish, which was a Brucey bonus, of course, but felt fine Friday night. And that's really weird for me. And that's kind of what I want to talk about for a little bit, was the fact that it was really normal. Yeah, that's the word that I'm just going to have to use to call it. Just now, it's just normal. And again, going to bed on Friday night, I assumed the worst. I assumed that I'd wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning with the anxiety that I usually always do. Alarm went off at 6 o'clock. I felt great. Honestly, I came downstairs for a morning cigarette. I'm still smoking. I had my breakfast, had my big bowl of, no, I didn't even have that. I didn't even have my big bowl of cereal first. This is how good my anxiety was on Saturday. I made myself eggs on fucking toast. I'd never be able to usually do that when I'm, feeling anxious towards something. Try to eat something's hard enough, but eggs on toast, that is not a meal that you should be having, or I should be having when I'm feeling anxiety anyway, anything eggy. So we made that and we ate that. And I was sat there on Saturday morning, I'm thinking, yeah, this is great, because I'm actually really excited for the day and I've got nothing to be afraid of. And that's a very odd feeling for me. It's not something that I'm used to. I'm naturally always feeling the worst when I'm thinking of anxiety and all the worst situations that could amass and stem from them. But it was fine. And again, it was almost the feeling of constantly waiting for the anxiety to kick in, and it never did. And from that, I've just got the biggest smile on my face. I'm so happy, and I really am so proud of myself for doing it. But it was really cool just to, and again, I don't want to use this phrase just kind of blasé-ish, because it's not really the word to describe the situation, but it was really cool just to feel normal. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way for anybody else. Yeah, it was really bizarre and new for me that I could, sit stand in this arena and watch people and not think, Kent, I've got to get outside, or man, I could do with a pint to calm my nerves, or 4 pints to calm my nerves. And there was just, yeah, so we got up there, the trains and that. I'll tell you a really funny story that happened on the train already about how relaxed it was. We're on the train, me and my mum, which, by the way, mum, thank you so much for coming up. You're a little rock star. Like, we were just saying on the way back from Saturday, I think that was the first time that we've ever done anything properly, just the two of us in years at least, if not ever. So, yeah, it was amazing to have my mum up there for the day. She loved it. Screaming me on at every station. And yeah, so train, and we're on the train from Edinburgh to Glasgow, going across there, and we've been yapping away, and we pull up into the station, looking about and thinking, it's Falkirk. I said, Mum, we've got to be quite close. Is this Falkirk? She said, no, I think it's not Falkirk. I think that's Motherwell. And yeah, of course, it would be Motherwell. Next stop before Glasgow. So we're sat there for a couple of minutes and people are getting off the train and we're still sat there. And then the next thing is when they see the thing changed back to Edinburgh, and the tannoy comes on that this was the train back to Edinburgh. We'd actually already got to Glasgow, hadn't fucking realised. And there's my mum still sat on the train while everybody's pissed off out of it. And people are about to start getting back on to go Edinburgh. So that's how relaxed it was, okay? Yeah, which was incredible. And like I say, you pull up to the arena. Usually transport is not my strong suit. When I'm outside my comfort zone, I've been sick out the side of a taxi through anxiety many a times. Take me back to Manchester when I somehow managed to projectile that far. I actually missed the pavement. I stood on the road. It went right over the pavement and onto the wall on the other side. And that was just before a music gig that they had. And yes, I don't really do well in public transport when I get really bad anxiety, but the anxiety just was not there. And so we pull up to the Hydra, the SECC, which, by the way, again, ADHD mind just kicking in, which is the very first gig venue that I ever really went to, was back in Muse in 2003 in the same hall, which was, kind of unique as well. And we got there, a load of hustle and bustle people. I knew straight away, I was like, shit, this is going to be hot. Yeah, it's so fucking hot in there. And it was just so cool just to stand and watch people just enjoying themselves as well and just being immersed in the atmosphere. And really, the environment was just... you have to be there, or you have to go. I would highly recommend, even as a spectator. It's such a fun day. So much happening. There's always something to watch. So many athletes, and yeah, there's me as well. By the way, just on the Friday at work, somebody asked me, how many people are doing it. I thought, I don't know, between 250 and 500. 1,800 entries in the Hyrox. 1,800, and Sean finished 94th. Sean finished 94th. How fucking good's that? What a legend. And I'll speak about Sean later on in the episode. What he's done for me and why I would recommend him as a personal trainer. Absolutely brilliant guy to work with. And yeah, so seeing Sean up there and Jill and Alan, it's just the best day. So again, yeah, obviously I started getting nervous. Probably around about 1:30, like an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes before I was due off. That's just normal nerves. That's just called being a human being. You're going to get nervous. And again, even with that, there was a sense of me that I knew what was happening. I was very conscious of the fact that I didn't feel anxiety, and it was brilliant. I didn't want to get too drawn into it because I know how quickly that can change. But even warming up, speaking to people, it was just a really nice laid back atmosphere. And I think it's because there's so many level headed people. We're all there for the same reason, and that is ultimately to improve on ourselves. And being in that environment with people the same as that, you can communicate. There's a lot of good energy in a hall like that. A lot of really good energy coming off of people, and everybody's just hyper. Everybody's on a high. The endorphins through there. If the testosterone's through the roof, the endorphins are taking the fucking roof off. So, it's a brilliant atmosphere. It was a brilliant day. So yeah, so just to go on, I didn't actually realize the warm-up area was the warm-up area. So if you were there, you know what I was on about. There's basically this huge cordoned off area right in the middle of the arena that's had exercise bikes. They had the sled, they had the row machines, they had you name it to warm up with. They had amazing little coolers with Red Bull in. Tanned one of them. And but there's dickhead me across on the other side. We're just running up and down the side of this wall and doing my stretches. And it's only when I went across there to enter my heat that I looked above. Okay, this is where people come and warm up. So it wasn't the best warm up. that I could have done. And because of that, I'm not making excuses. I'm just happy that I've done it. But I noticed in my warm up, my left hamstring, and it's still so sore, was unbelievably tight. Not to the fact that I thought it was going to like injure me, but just crampy, like unbelievable cramps. So so when I did get across there, I didn't really want to push any more of a warm up. It's just like, just go, just chill in, just take it, soak up the atmosphere a little bit, and just enjoy yourself, which was amazing. But by the way, when I was doing that, I heard the announcer come across that there was a guy doing his second Hyrox of the day with a 20-kilogram sack on his back. I just don't know how that's humanly possible, but fair enough. Well, like that is just that's scarily impressive. So yeah, so warm up area. So yeah, nerves are kicking in as per, but it was just soaking up the atmosphere. I was asking, on the anxiety sense, usually I would be so detached in a little corner by myself and just doing what I could to chill out. Although I did do a little bit of meditating beforehand. I love my meditating, so I always swear by it, just a couple of minutes. And I was asking the guys, exactly how the laps work and speaking to people, and yeah, you all huddle into that tent at the start, and it was just all ready to go, and you see the countdown come up on the screens in front of you, and this is it, and this is it, and fuck's sake, there goes the start whistle, and I started so fucking fast. That was my downfall. I knew I was just going to get too excited and too taken away by what was going on, and I was going to I'm just like a puppy, follow that guy and keep on going after him. And yeah, that's how pretty much I started. So I actually think my first kilometer was about 5 minutes 5 seconds, which to other people that might not be impressive, but I was training in my head, I was like 6.5 minutes on the runs, pick up a little bit or regain a little bit of energy if you can, just back off them a little bit. So it's going into the Hyrox event actually itself. So if you didn't know what it all was, I'm now going to run you through it. So that would start with the 1 kilometer run, which straight away I knew, I don't know what it was. If anxiety happened at any point during the day, it was during that 1 kilometer run. I can tell you that, because the stuffiness of the place, I was so dry because of the nerves, excitement anyway. And it was like, you try to run, and I just could not fucking breathe whatsoever. And then like, I'm thinking then, like, God, you need to stop. You're only halfway around. You only done 500 meters, and there's me like slowing down my legs. I'm thinking, God, this is going to be a mission today, innit? So went into the ski urge, the 1,000-meter ski, and naturally that took a little bit longer than I kind of hoped it would have. Again, I wasn't going for a time. I was just going to finish, but I'll get on time in a bit. And so skiing, it was hard enough. Straight back into the 1 kilometer run, which then I must admit I was kind of like, yeah, okay, now you're in the flow. Like, let the lungs out and get that breathing back, and slow it right down, and get ready for the sleds, because the sleds were my anxiety lay about the entire Hyrox, was the sled push and pull. If you've never done a sled before, don't comment on how hard or easy you think it is. Brutally fucking hard. It's just like being in a scrum, and you're pushing double your weight back in front of you. So put into that terms. Jumped into the station for the sled, and my mistake there again was just trying to do it as fast as I could. Massive mistake. Done my first length, 12.5 meters, and I was bust. Like, I must have took about 45 seconds rest at least after that first length. I don't know what happened. I was just so tanked out. Got it over, and then you have to start it again. And it was when I was starting it again, the shakes just took over. My hand was, where's the camera? There it is. And it's just so bad, shaking all over the place. And that's when my mum reached across and says, like, slow down. You're in a race versus you. You're not in a race versus any of these other people. It's you versus you. So, which really helped. That sunk in. I thought, you know what, fuck it. Yeah, I'm going to take a 15-minute break. I'm joking. so no, I just stood for the extra minute, compose myself and just get that up and down back as fast as you can. Back into the 1 kilometer, I was so happy that the sled push was done. I think it's 152 kilos in the men. I think somebody might need to correct me on that, but I think it's 152 kilos. Back into the kilometer, and then into the sled pull, which is a little bit lighter. I think it's 100 odd kilos. same distance, 50 meters, but you're pulling it back with a rope. Now the sled pull's always been something that I've, I'm reasonably happy with myself at. It's I've got quite strong back, I've got quite good lats, and so pulling wasn't really that much of an issue. But again, when you take into account how hot it is in there, which I'd never done, I'd only ever trained outside with it. It is a different type of exercise entirely. It busts you. It obviously your heart rate, your breathing goes through the roof, and it's really hard to slow that back down when you know you have to go and do it again. Which is effectively the mental barrier of Hyrox, is that when you think you've done it, you got to go do it again. So that's so yeah, sled pull was tough, was a bit tougher than I kind of anticipated, which again kind of slowed me down a little bit, but it was it was all good. So we went back into the kilometer run, and then there was the burpees. It's 80 meters, and the devilish thing about that is that the 80 meters is broken into 240 meters on the day. So you go and do one, then you've got to turn a corner and come all the way back again. I fucking hated that about it because it just never seemed to end. Burpees, I was always going to go probably as slow as I could go without getting disqualified. It's anybody that's done 10 burpees, you'll understand how hard that is. But the 80-meter broad jump is burpee, stop, you can't move, burpee, 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 so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. And obviously the further that you jump, the more energy that you use. So the slower that you jump, you do it faster. So it's about finding that happy little medium of how you can actually do the burpees. And the happy medium for me was just do it slow as shit. Don't get worried about what these frogs behind you are jumping right past you. It's just slow right down. And I was actually really happy with how my burpees went, because I left it pretty okay. Like, I knew that I hadn't just beasted myself in it, which is what I wanted to do. It's important to know by this point, there is a water station inside the workstation area to rehydrate. There was also a nice little Red Bull station, which I had a couple of cups of that. I don't know if that helped or hindered me. And yeah, I'd decided pretty early on, due to the heat of the place and due to my dehydration issues, that I was going to go and take water before I'd even started the station. So I was using it twice, and that would have slowed me down quite a bit. It sounds like I'm making a lot of excuses here. There's a reason for that. And yeah, so it was straight back into the kilometer. And then what came next? Would it be Farmer's Carry? 200 meters Farmer's Carry. That's not bad. I mean, if there is one out there that you don't mind doing, it's 200 meters Farmer's Carry. Saying that, it was still hard on the forearm pump is incredible. I can't quite remember. Was it 24 or 26 kilogram weights? I think it's 24 is the kettlebells that you use in that for the men. 200 meters, up, round, up, down, up, down, up, down. And again, I felt fine on that. Like I said on the day, anybody that's done shopping for SAS and carried it about, your Farmer's Carry is made up for you anyways. You don't need to go practice. so yeah, I was pretty happy with the Farmer's Carry. And again, that allowed me to then go into quite a faster kilometer. Unfortunately, by that time, the old left hammy had well and truly started pumping away. It was very apparent when I was running. It was kind of like one of them that you kind of goes away. So you start picking up your pace, and then you start like pulling up a little bit. But you can keep running, but you know that you can't run as fast as you want to. It's one of them annoying little things. It was just trying to get it right. So I'd pretty much, with lunges coming next, I knew that I had to just back off of it as much as I could, which is why I would say probably the last three kilometers of the race was like 750 meters run, 250 meter walk. It's just, I just did not want at that point to have gone through 5 kilometers, sled movements, rowing as well. Rowing's cool. That's what would have came next. The rowing. And rowing's fine. I don't really mind the rowing. For something that I really struggled with at the start, it's rowing's actually my meditation point in the entire course. So you close your eyes. There's actually close my eyes. Get that breathing sorted, Andrew. Use rowing as that. That's what was always going to happen there. So I wasn't really bothered about the time. It was the time just to relax, soak up a little bit of the atmosphere, enjoy myself, and get a bit of energy back into it. So it's rowing, then Farmer's Carry, and then we went into the walk and lunges, and that is what I feared the absolute most, especially with the hamstring. I mean, even before I started, the lunges were the one for me, because you can't drop the bag. Once it's up there for is it 100 meters or 75 meters? I think it's 100 meters. It's up there for the duration. You can't pull it down, or else you get a penalty. You drop it twice, you're out the race. So I didn't even want to drop it once, because I don't want the nerves of I can't do it again, or else that's me done. which was actually okay. You know, it's 25 kilogram sack, but then when you add in walking lunges and that, again, there's no steps involved. It's lunge to lunge. There's referees watching the entire time. The knee has to touch the floor. It's proper form lunges, and you know, you can't then. There's no scope to even cheat on yourself. You have to do it right, and that's another beautiful thing about Hyrox. You have to do it disciplined, and so the walking lunges were slow. They were really slow going. You know, I think I was working on like 4 steps, 2 steps, 2 steps, 2 steps, 4 steps, 4 steps, 2 steps, 2 steps, 2 steps, 4 steps is the way I was trying to do it in my head. I'm really bad at like when I lead with my right foot and then lead with my left, where do I start again? And you obviously you're meant to do it. I don't know if to pull you up on that as much. I don't know if I did do it wrong, and maybe I did get put. I don't know. It was obviously keeping them that, you know, left, right. Although I'm doing that. I'm using my using the wrong hands. It would look better to you guys, but I've used that anyway. So we do the lunges, and yeah, coming off of that's when I was all out. I was done. I was fucked, and I knew that I just had obviously 1 kilometer and then my wall balls to go. That last kilometer was a weird one. It got really emotional. I'm not going to lie. Definitely the last lap. I didn't want it to end. I just, you know, I just loved it. I loved the day of not having anxiety, and I loved doing it, and I loved being in the arena. Something else that was mentioned was is the camaraderie that was up there as well, and the support that you get from each other. Anytime that it looked, or obviously it felt to me, it must have looked to everybody else that I was struggling, somebody running past you would give you a pat on the back and say, right, come on, lad, come on, keep up with me then now, pal, and we'll get, you know, let's get out your mind. Which I just love about the human race anyway, is the fact that when you have all these like-minded people in a room again, in a room together, and I talk about good energy, it's just the good energy that they help and support you is unparalleled with anything else in life. Sport does that, fitness does that, brings us all together, and it was just an incredible way to kind of end it. Again, a little bit emotionally, I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, that last day, I'd say the last 250 meters, there was definitely a lot of tears building up behind my eyes, thinking back into last year, and you know how far I'd come personally. What this race had taken out of me itself. I could not believe how hard it was on the day. Keep in mind, I'd done it in practice nearly twice leading up to it. Doing it inside is a totally different race. It's a totally different monster than doing it outside. You can't really compare the two. They really are that much different. And yeah, it was just to be where I was last year, and then to be where I am now with a smile on my face is just the best feeling in the world. And oh dear, and obviously that's massively down to you guys as well for the support that you were able to give me. So there was a lot of that going through my head at the time, and you know, a lot of amazing messages from you guys on the day and leading up to it when you know that I was struggling, and that was in my head during that last lap. And again, I just want to say thanks, because that is what got me over the finish line. I was really, really, really bust by then. I was tanked out of energy, and obviously we still have a fucking 100 wall balls to get through, which I'm going to say now, if by some miracle the ref that was judging me on the wall balls is listening to this, I'm so sorry for being such a money dickhead. I really do mean that. Like, I think but firstly, I'm going to say this. If any Hyrox bloody organizers listen to this, do not put the fucking food stalls in the wall ball area. That is not what you need when you run into that bit. You've just done all that and you run into this warmer area where now I've got to go throw things 100 times over my head to hit a target. And if I don't hit that target, and if I don't get down low enough, it doesn't count. To be blessed with the smell of burgers and hot dogs and fried onions and mustard is just not what you want. So please, Hyrox, get that sorted, get that outside. Anyway, so you get in there, and yeah, the lass that was referring me, she was annoying at the time. I'm not gonna lie. It's just that by that point, I just wanted to end. So she wasn't actually being annoying. She was actually being really supportive, but it was just the fact that I couldn't move. She was egging me on to move, and I just wasn't responding. And I had to get a little box out because I wasn't getting low enough. I was just totally tanked out. And I remember how serious to take Hyrox. I kind of got lulled into a false sense of security that being an amateur, being a first timer, they just take it easy with you. And what you read about the penalties and the DQs is just theirs because they have to, but no, they are really on it. Like I say, my first 6 wall balls didn't even count. She told me that. She says none of them are counting, son. You need to get the box. And then I remember I was on 81 on the little clicker thing she showed me. I was like, right, 19 left, and I done a set of 10, and I was up to 83. It's like, come on, please, just hand me a little bit of something else, please. It was so hard. Just see when you let go of it, and it just doesn't make that marker, and it falls back down to that. People watching this that give Hyrox a go next year, you're going to know what I'm on about. It is not a nice feeling. So we got that done, and then it's across the finish line. And I must admit, when I crossed the finish line, I wasn't that bothered. I was just happy that it was done. I was just, the pain had set in long before the finish line. So just knowing that it was over was obviously reassuringly fun. It was very cool to have done it. I was just fucking happy to be done. I've just got to be honest with it. I was just happy to go and get a bottle of water in a seat. So sorry, so we come off the race, cool little bait station. Everybody else is, sitting down on the nice deck chairs. I wish I'd taken up that opportunity. I just got an apple and a bottle of juice and then just went blathering away to everybody as per usual. Got a good little talk with Sean, how much has helped me, how much has changed my life. My mum, obviously, big hugs. Kieran and Rachel, by the way, wherever they listen to this episode or not, I'm not really too sure. You guys coming down on the day as well made such a massive difference. Honestly, I can't tell you how buzzing I was when I turned around that corner of the first kilometer and I seen you shouting at me. Honestly, the smile on my face just lit up. Having a pint with you after, and I just it was just such a brilliant day, and they made it all the more better for being across there. So thanks a lot if you guys are listening to this episode. It really did mean a lot to me. So yeah, speaking of them, say went for a pint and then just caught up for a little bit. I've seen Alan off, and then it was time for a train home. So all in all, I have to, I just have to say it again. It is just one of the best. It's brutal, right? I can't say it any other way. It is fucking hard, like really hard. Like, don't take it lightly. Don't just go, oh well, that guy with anxiety, with depression, he can do it. You can do it. This is what I was trying to prove you. I was trying to say from the start of the year that, or from last year into this year, that I'd lost how many stone of fat and muscle. No diet, nothing, no enjoyment, nothing could get me up in the morning to make me see purpose. And now I've just went and done what is potentially one of the hardest physical amateur assault courses that you can do in the world just now. So to do that is to show that it can be done. And that's the message that I was obviously trying to portray. And now I can say it was done. We did it. Yes. And I'm so super happy that we'd be able to do it. And I hope that, I'm not saying that I hope I inspire people to go and do a Hyrox, but if it doesn't need to be Hyrox, it can be anything in life, that you should never set yourself a limitation on what you believe that you can do. Once you get a little bit of support and once you get an idea presented to you that could help change your life, take it. Like, don't hesitate on it, just take it. Because when you hesitate, your body, your safety system's going to kick in and go. Don't do that. You like your normal life. You like coming home. You like sitting down. You didn't like doing the hard work. Just go for it and commit to it. That's just my advice. Is just go and commit to it. Get into the training. Know that you're going to have to really apply your training. And now that's something that really came as a massive surprise for me. Like I've said before, I've been in the gym for 13, 14 years. I know a lot of stuff about the gym. I might not look the best for that time. If you listen to my episodes, you'll understand why. But when I fought before, I was training hard. Doesn't even come close to a 50% Hyrox workout, and that is the bottom of it. I'm not just bigging this up because I've went and done it, and it's more of a who. People know, like Alan will back me up on this. Anybody that's done it up at the gym will back me up on this, that you will not get a harder field of sport, kind of gym wise, to go and compete yourself in. It is so hard. So if you do commit to it, know that you are committing to it that if you turn up on race day and you're underprepared, you aren't going to be able to do it. It's as simple as that. Your body will not do it because it fatigues so quickly. I'd love to know how many calories I've done. So more importantly, so my finishing time was 1 hour 55 minutes and 32 seconds. So this is where my mom's gonna, if she was here, would slap me. So I'm really happy that I done it. I am really happy that I done it. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud as punch. I got my message out and it was done. I said it would be done. But I am also super, super, super competitive. And I know that doesn't show on a lot of people, but I am. And I am fucking raging with my time as well. So with that in mind, and the fact that I've seemed to have lost my finishing patch, which is even pissing me off even more, is that we have to then go and do it again next year, don't we? It's the only way to go and do it. I need that finishing patch, and I am not settling for an hour 55. So we got the Edinburgh Half Marathon in May. There's a little bit different training going for that. Obviously, a lot more running, which is going to help my Hyrox next year anyway. And I think Sean has created a bit of a monster with his training. I'll be honest here. So Sean, I'll just talk about Sean for a couple of minutes. And so basically when Sean took me on to get ready for Hyrox, this all started because he planted the seed in my brain saying, "Do you want to do Hyrox?" I could never do that. I went home and then booked myself in because, like I say, just do it. I didn't even research what it was. I just knew Sean is fit as fuck. So if he's doing it and he finds it challenging, I'm going to find it horribly challenging. So let's go do it. It might change my life, and it has. So yeah, when Sean took me on that very first session when I spewed, I really did not think then that, like, I'd say I've been in the gym for, that was my first session. I spewed my ringer. It is so hard. And what's happened now is there wasn't a lot of there's strength training. Of course, there's strength training when you're training for anything. You want to keep a good frame and a good bit of strength in you, a healthy structure. But there was obviously it's a lot more intensity, endurance style workouts, and probably the latter weeks of the Hyrox training was quite tough for me anyway because I was pardon me, had a couple of colds and whatnot. Diet wasn't really that great. Kind of up and down with the mood still a little bit, and so like training going into it wasn't that good, and like the last maybe 2 weeks before, and it could have been better, I should say. And through that time, I was just like, just get me back to strength workouts. Like, I can't wait to get back to my normal workouts, which I can't wait to get back to some normal workouts. But the problem is that since I've taken on Sean, I can't wait to get back to Hyrox workouts more. And you couldn't have paid me on Saturday, and I mean this, say on Saturday, if you stuck over, 500 quid on the table and says, do it next year, I probably wouldn't have taken it. I probably would have got some skin, but, in retrospect, it would have took a lot for me to consider doing Hyrox because I felt that, that awful, that fatigued after doing it. I was really bust. Woke up on Sunday and I wish I was back up at the Hyrox watching the guys do the doubles. I actually wish I was doing the doubles on Sunday. Yes, my body was absolutely in tatters. It wasn't that sore on Sunday. Now, I'm not saying I probably could have went and done a half Hyrox again. I wouldn't be able to do a half Hyrox again. But I think in a year's time training, I could do the Saturday and I could do the Sunday. And that's probably what I'm going to end up going for next year. So, yeah. So, Sean, we're not finished our business. Yes. This is the first chapter of our stories getting written. And I can't wait to see what's coming up in the future. What I would say about Sean, incredibly knowledgeable. You just really, really knows his stuff when he comes into the story, especially the Hyrox, but any training he's really knowledgeable at. But one thing I owe to him massively, and that is he's made me a little bit more mentally stronger and a little bit more mentally resilient to the fact that I shouldn't care about what other people think about me and focus on your goal, and your goal is all that matters to you. And if that's what's going to make you happy, then stick by that. Trust yourself, and that's what Sean's done over the last couple of months. And like I said before, I don't think he's probably ever realized how much he has actually helped me until we kind of spoke on Saturday. I said, you've changed my life, which he has, and because of this. And I didn't think I was going to get to the stage last year when I first took it on. I just thought it might be, we'll go do it and we'll get started with the training, but it might not happen. Ken, I might not be good enough, or my mental health might not be in the right frame of mind to continue doing it. But to come away 5 or 6 months after the start of the training from scratch, and then to be where I am now, I'm so happy. So this smile as well goes down to Sean, also Alan. I speak about Alan obviously a lot at Sparta Gym, a lot on this podcast, but again, just another example of how he's managed to create such a brilliant family feeling at that gym. Was obviously there was a lot of us going up there, messages for in the morning and that, and wishing everybody good luck, and then hearing people. I mean, Alan roaring at me on the burpees. He's the only voice. I mean, you're on about an arena with about 4,000 people in it. He was the only voice that I could hear because he was shouting so fucking loud at me just to keep up, keep on going, don't drop. And it's just that, like I said, I've not been the best sporty person all my life. I'm all right at sports, all right, some sports, but I've never been like excelled at sports or anything like that. And it's actually one of the reasons why we created, if anybody may know this name, when I say AS Codenham, was a football team that we created. Was for people that weren't quite as good as the guys that were playing on the actual leagues around here, the border amateur league. So we went and created a football team that we could play with, other pub teams and that, which was really fun back in the day. So since then, I haven't really been like part of like a sporty team or anything, but I certainly felt part of a team at the weekend as well again. And that was a brilliant feeling, which again, I was just smiling away whenever I think about stuff like this. So it's really cool. So Alan, again, just another thank you for just the support and for helping setting up the training courses, for helping me get a lot of sponsors as well was massive. And let's see where Hyrox takes us as well, pal, because I think you've got a bit of an itch for it as well. I've seen them out tanking in some walking steps yesterday, and takes a lot to take Alan down. And he beat me 1 hour 52 is just insane, Alan. Like, you must be so proud, as you should be, and you deserve it. We had conversations beforehand that you're a little bit apprehensive about the running, how your calves, how your ankles were going to hold up, but you delivered, and that's all that matters. So well done as well, Alan. Everybody go give Alan a message again, just tell him how fucking well he's done. And it was a brilliant endorsement for that gym, because again, like I said before, gyms are places that we can go to let off negative energy, but it's a place that you also turn a lot of negative energy into positive energy, and once you do that, a lot of positivity just brings people together. And it was just the best day. So to finish on the Hyrox was on the Hyrox part of this episode was it was brilliant. Like I said at the start, probably one of the top 5 things I've done in my life. To not have anxiety on a day like that was, and I must say, sorry, without alcohol. I know I said I had a pint later, but I'm on about like 9 o'clock in the morning. Had this been a normal day away, I would have been drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning. I know that sounds stupid, but it's just the way it would have been. And even if I was doing an event, and to go into something like that sober, and to come out the other side unscathed, or even having any thoughts that I might have been scathed during said event, was just so rewarding and refreshing for me. It's honestly the first time in I don't know how many years that I felt that way, so it was the coolest feeling. So that was Hyrox, Dan, and now I'm just going to ramble on for about another 10 minutes to fill up the time of this episode, seeing as Riverside's actually working for once. So, like I said, training's going to change a little bit now coming up. We've got the Edinburgh Half Marathon coming up, which is on the May 26th. What's going to be very unique about that, and I'm not wanting to talk about too much today because I don't want to bring the mood down for you or for me, because I'm in a really good mood, is it's pretty much be a year since some real suicidal mishaps may have happened, for want of a better word, which would have been the 27th of May. And that one's going to be emotionally different, to then see exactly how far I've came over the last year. And it's mental health month too, and it's my birthday. So it'll be a different way to celebrate this year. It will be a totally different birthday from last year. Fuck, it couldn't be any worse. So that'll be really cool. So we've got Edinburgh Half Marathon coming up. So training's now going to change. I do want to apply a little bit of strength work back into my routines, but I am going to keep up most of the Hyrox stuff. I'm definitely going to earmark probably a lot of Hyrox movements into the likes of my leg days, especially the sleds and that. And I just want to keep up the cardio. I'm enjoying feeling fit, and I used to always be the bulky, keep on push those pounds, Brody. But this is different, and this is new to me, and I'm really enjoying this. It's exciting to see where it's going to take me. So yeah, I'd say I've got to continue working with Sean as well. I want to get down to about an hour 35 minutes for next year in Glasgow. There is Birmingham later in the year, but with the Great North Run in September, I really don't want to, really overdo myself and end up with an injury. I'm not too sure exactly when Birmingham is. I think it's around about October, November time, so there would be time. But yeah, I don't know if I might just be pushing my own boat out a little bit too far there. I've got enough on my plate with this stuff going on too. So yeah, so we've got the Edinburgh half, and then we've obviously got the Great North Run in September. So they're going to be the next two kind of physical challenges that we're going to be putting ourselves through for charity. I haven't quite decided what charity I'll be doing the Edinburgh half for. Being Mental Health Month, I would almost certainly assume it'll be Andy's Man Club. But Andy's Man Club. Just remembered, prize one. Firstly, start on that. Kev's episode. If you haven't went and listened to Kev's episode, go listen to Kev's episode before I continue this, then come back to this, and it's going to make a lot more sense. Kev's episode was absolutely brilliant. What a gentle giant he was, and just a really nice-hearted, spirited individual that I could really spend a lot of time with and talk to. Just one of them people that just ooze energy, just ooze like easiness and just calmness. He was one of them, and I really enjoyed speaking with Kev. So just on that, is for anybody that did listen, for anybody that might not know, is next Thursday is the opening night of Andy's Man Club in Imov down at the Larder. I think it's 7 or half 7. Doors might open at 6:30. So definitely get yourself along if you're a little bit interested in what you think Andy's Man Club might be able to offer you as a charitable service. If you've listened to Kev's and how much it's helped him and how much it's helped, thousands of other men across the country, get yourself along there. Drop me a message if you want. I can try and help you. Any questions that you've got about it. Following on for that, the first Andy's Man Club, I think, is the Monday after that, which again will be at the Larder. I think doors open at 6:30, starts at 7. Brilliant stages, brilliant confidential place to let off some steam and any negative mental health. You don't even need to talk, as he says. You can just come along and see what everybody else is up to, just to feel at ease that that there are other people out there struggling. And it's nice to know that when you can relate to that and you can offload some of them problems, that there's somebody listening that knows exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, highly recommend go and listen to Kev's episode. It's already in my top 3 episodes all time, so I'm pretty sure most of you will have. But yeah, definitely go check out if you've not done it. Where was I again? Yeah, so Andy's Man Club will probably be the Edinburgh Half Marathon charity bit. I've still got a little bit of Macmillan to do. Sorry, I got a really itchy nose. I didn't want to pick it on camera. That's better. So training's going to be a little bit different. Edinburgh Half Marathon. I'm looking forward to doing the half marathon again. Last one would have been 2016 when I'd done the Great North Run. That's the first and only one half marathon that I'd done. Now, again, I remember back then, by the end of that, I thought that was actually quite easy. So it'd be interesting to see now as a 36-year-old how much easier that is. So yeah, but that's going to massively help my Hyrox for next year, because the running part is where you're going to save on your time. The workstations are the workstations. They're brutal. They're going to take you. Oh, my God, my nose is itchy. Sorry, I've got notes here. Right, it's because I've got notes. Just my God. Sorry, I think I've got something up it. Right, that's got to be it. So, other 2 guests as well that I had on recently, Lindsay and Milky, absolutely incredible, really good chats, and I totally forgot where I was going with this. Nah, it's totally gone. Sorry, I don't even know how to pause this. Oh, for the love of fuck. I guess I can't pause it, so I've just got to go on and go on to the next bit. Oh, I done notes. That was it. Fuck me. Right. What number is that? I'm just going to mark the clip. 44. Right, there we go. I don't even know if that worked. Did that work? Add marker. There we go. 44 minutes, so I know it will come back with that. Fine, Riverside's actually working. So, oh my God, it's happened again. Ironically, it's about this sort of stuff. Yeah, so a lot of my guests have been bringing notes on, so I kind of thought it'd be a good idea if I actually wrote down notes, so I can just go down a little charter of the episode to make sure that I've not missed anything out. So my guests are rubbing off on me; they're bringing a load of notes across, and I'm looking thinking, Ken, that's not actually half a bad idea to do a podcast, Andrew. Start making some notes because usually I just well, I am winging it, but you know what I mean. It's nice to have a little bit of structure to the episodes. Yeah, so yeah, the premium service as well is where I'm going to finish this. So some of you might know it across on the Instagram page at Andrew's Anxiety Adventure. I think very soon the Borderline podcast is going to have its entirely different Instagram page as well. I'm just going to separate the two, just so messages don't get mixed across the way or missed. So what will be happening in March is that you will, if you decide to, you can. I'm not forcing this on anybody. Is subscribe to the Borderline podcast premium service. It's going to cost you £1.99 per month, which is as low as I could get it. Again, I really didn't want to. It's not that I didn't want to. It's I really got my own issues about putting any kind of monetary value on this podcast or asking people to pay money for something that I believe should be entirely free. So that's why I've not bothered about anything. That's why even, I think that post is probably about a month old. It's why I've still not done anything with it, because it just isn't the forefront of what I do. It's not my philosophy. It's not the way I want to lead. Money is not everything. As much as it is, it isn't. So the premium service, what's actually all going to happen with that? So basically, all episodes, like what I'm doing just now, will remain completely free. All guest episodes, even in the future, will be completely free. That will not change. There's absolutely no way on earth I'm getting a guest on and profiting off of their story. That's just not happening. It's not fair. It's not right. So ideally for me, I just want more of these things. I just want a better setup. I want to get the money back that I've already put into it, plus a little bit more if possible, to grow the podcast. And what I mean by that is then having the equipment, having the infrastructure there that I can have, more than one guest on at the time. We can actually have discussions with people. Just grow it a little bit more. Maybe get some sponsors or something like that as well, which would be really cool and really helpful, because I really want to push on with it this year. Now that the views are kind of racking up, like I said earlier, we hit our 1,000, and since then we are nearly at 300, which is nearly 100 a week, which is just mind blowing for me. So the premium service, I've not actually told you what you're actually all going to get with that. So for £1.99 a month, you will be guaranteed one episode like this, which is a personal solo cast hosted by me yourself every month, one a week. They won't be as long as this, but they will just be a kind of rundown of my week. What else may happen with that is a lot of bonus content, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And what I want to do is also open up an active discussion group with anybody that does subscribe, that you can come onto Riverside, totally off the book. Nothing gets recorded and actually published, but me and you can just have a little chat. Not every, I understand that I'm not going to be able, if there was a lot of subscribers, I understand I'm not going to be able to go through every single one of them per month, per day. You know exactly what I mean. But if I could have a group one that we can all come in, anybody can ask questions, that we can interact and talk with that. That's the kind of platform that I've got for it just now. And you've also, for anybody across on Andrew's Anxiety Adventures, would have seen that song that I'd stuck up the other day. So that was put on when I was not feeling in a very good place the other day. And for anybody that knows me, music is, formerly earlier in life was a massive part of my life, making music, writing music, playing live, and that was always a big point. And I've never really done that for the last properly, the last 20 years, 15 years. 15, 20 years. And so I've picked up the old guitar again, and then this time I've decided to try and teach myself how to sing. Never used to be able to sing very well, still can't sing very well. But you'll also get full blog vlog style of what I'm learning, why I'm learning, writing my own stuff. You'll get all of my own material and that on there when it comes out. Obviously that isn't going to happen overnight. I need to get better equipment to record music. These microphones aren't the best for higher frame rates and whatnot. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. I would head across probably more to the Facebook page, Borderline Podcast, or the Instagram page, which currently is Andrew's Anxiety Adventure. I'm going to put up a post in there later in the week, and that is just going to outline exactly what the premium service gives you versus what the free version just now gives you, which, as I say, and to reiterate once again, Sorry, need to burp. Reiterate that once again is that any episode that's been done by so far. Now I know Ghost Stories is in the paid subscription. I had to add an episode in just to kind of get it started, so that's why I put in the lowest played one. So I stuck Ghost Stories in there. You'll start seeing the episodes will start becoming available, but you'll only get certain ones. You know where I'm going with this. It's the subscriptions. It's basically as well. It's to stop me going across onto Patreon. I'd put on that I was going to start the Patreon account, but I'm not really up for Patreon. It just seems a little bit too faffy, quite glitchy as well. And just from what I've read about people doing podcasts on there, it isn't the best platform or hosting server to be doing that. You're not really going to make much money back, I think, that's what they're pretty much saying. So, which is fine for me because I'm not in it for the money, but I really do want some better kit. So yeah, that hopefully that will happen this year. So yeah, that's just about everything else. I think that's everything that I've kind of covered for today's episode. I know there was a bit of a waffle on there in a minute, but I really just wanted to come and talk a little bit Hyrox and obviously tell you that it was done. And yeah, now we look forward to the Edinburgh Half Marathon. So I'm going to finish this episode. I usually always thank people, and I know it's quite a common occurrence, but I really do mean it. And that is, I cannot express to you how much you guys helped me and how much you guys have helped change my life. This Hyrox wasn't just my win. This was your guys' win too. And this was the first fight back for me. This was the first punch back from last year to shoot up to say, no, I am in control, bitch. And I am the captain of the ship. I'm going to take us to our next destination, and that next destination is going to taste and look just as good as this one did. And that is down to you guys. That's down to Alan and Sean from the gym. That's down to my mum coming up. That's down to everybody. SAS massively that's supported me. People at work as well. You've been an absolute rock stars. Joanna's per knocking out the park every week with her ching chang wax talks. Don't know what happened there. And it's really nice. It's really inspiring me to go and try bigger, better things and try and get this message out there that it's okay not to be okay, and that these things happen to us, and although they feel like it's the end of the world, they don't necessarily have to be the end of the world. You just need to rewire slightly and get people around you that can help you rewire. Is the most important aspect. So again, I know I say it all the time. Thank you guys so much. There will be another quiz night coming up soon as well. I'm away on holiday next week for a couple of days. Me and Mrs. Willix are due a well-earned break, so we're going across to Amsterdam for a couple of days, which would be pretty cool. Been there before. I love the dam. So when I get back, there's going to be a lot more guest episodes, a lot more solo episodes. By that time, the premium service will hopefully be starting to roll up. Should I have time? You know how I am with my promises and my commitments. Not the best, but welcome to the world of anxiety and depression. Yeah, I think that's just about it. So honestly, guys, I leave it there for this episode. Again, thank you so much. I fucking told you it would be done. Hyrox was. Thank you so much. This has been Andrew Relics in the Borderline Podcast. Good night.